in the playoff.
We're going to talk about that in a few seconds. I don't think they will be able to. If they do, that's going to piss
They
people
might
off.
put Ohio in the playoff, right?
Ohio has a chance, but we'll explain all that in a second. And oh shit, it's actually going. Hello there, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. It is the GOUG here once again, and it's time for everyone's favorite thing to do on Wednesday nights. No, it's not learn how to cook some French cuisine from Chef Ramsay. No, it's not watching hockey right now. It's time for college and NFL pick day. We're in week 13 for the NFL season, and we are now at the conference championships for college. But I am not alone. We have the man called Dave, who's a big 49ers fan.
Yes, sir. What up? What up? What up?
In Michigan.
Hell, blue baby, they blew all the way.
No,
Let's go.
Yeah, Michigan did its job. I got to give them props on that one. They did their thing. So I'm not gonna hate on that. When you realize you have a lot of friends.
When you watch it, Mr. Jones, I'm sorry.
So if they want to stop by and have some fun and listen to us rant and all that good stuff. I would be surprised if we get any new people who join us in the comment section tonight, but that's either neither here nor there. And Travis might not be able to join us tonight, but he did send me his NFL picks for this week. He didn't send me his college ones, which is fine. It's the conference one this week, so we mostly care about, I think at this point, what, the NFL one mostly. College is just going to be for fun now because it's conference. Technically, though, there was 11 college games, but we're not doing the number 11 because that's not for anything except for bullshit. But anyway, let's get this going. I hope everyone's having a good night. But let's go over what happened last week.
Your poll.
Yeah, thank you.
Your light. I said your. Oh, I didn't mean to tag you in that thick toy about the dolphin. I thought you didn't know, so I didn't know.
Yeah, I knew that, but we're gonna bring that up in a little bit too. We got a lot of shit, some good, some bad, and some ugly. But going over this past week in sport, college, and pros, the Wolfpack beat the Tar Heels in college. The Florida Seminoles beat Florida, and then Florida got more bad news today. Michigan beat Ohio State, pretty much putting Ohio State's chances out in life support. USC beat the Irish, which we kind of figured, but hey, at least my Irish kept it close. And the Air Force beat San Diego. So for college, I went 3-2, 25 for the college.
I gotta do the counting when I get off here. I didn't do it for like last 2 weeks.
No problem. Getting to the NFL side of things from Week 12, on Thanksgiving, the Bills barely got by the Lions, proving that the Lions are going to be a hard team to beat no matter what. The Cowboys beat the third-string Giants defense in that game. And the Vikings and Kirk Cousins finally proved Kirk Cousins could win on prime time as they beat the Patriots. Moving on to the Sunday games, Broncos country got murdered by the Panthers. Broncos might be the worst team besides the Houston Texans. Cleveland Browns upsetted the Buccaneers in overtime. Jags upsetted Baltimore as well on Sunday. Dolphins pretty much destroyed the Texans because the Texans are pretty much going for that ultimate tank. The Jets, with the new quarterback, Mr. White, defeated the Bears. Granted, Chicago had a hurt defense and Fields was out, but still a good game for the Jets offense. Bengals upsetted the Titans, so I'm not really upset, but it was a good game. The Redskins, aka the Commanders, beat the Falcons, improving their playoff chances. The Chargers beat the Cardinals in what was a game called Who Wanted to Not Lose This. My buddy Corey Ramsey's Raiders upsetted the Seahawks, keeping the Raiders playoff hopes alive. Chiefs beat the Rams easily. 49ers defense stopped the Saints because the Niners offense was really not that good. Eagles pretty much ran up and down on the Green Bay Packers. If you put your ear outside to the wind right now, you can still hear the Eagles running over Green Bay. And then the game we got to talk about because it's the most embarrassing thing I've seen all week. Colts and Steelers. Now the Steelers won. That's fine. That put me at 10-6 for the week. I'm 104-75-1 for the season. Dave's in the lead by not by much, but I think by a game, and then Travis is right in the middle and second as well. But can I ask this question? Jeff Saturday, what the fuck were you thinking?
Oh,
You
about the
had
timeouts.
about the timeouts. You had the chance to do something. You got the first down. There's 2 minutes left. But yet you let 90 seconds went off the clock before you called a timeout, and then it ended up being 4th and 2 with 30 seconds left. You screwed yourself, you dumb motherfucker. That was the most embarrassing thing I've seen all week. Nothing else could compare. That was just bad coaching. Granted, the Broncos tried to put that. So I'm gonna, but anyway, so that's that. Now, of course, we're going to get to some NFL news real quick before we get to the college. Some NFL news, anyways. The ones I don't have pulled up on ESPN, the ones I put up on Facebook. Eagles safety C.J. Gardner-Johnson will be sidelined indefinitely with a lacerated kidney that he suffered over in the game against the Packers. He left in the first quarter. Deshaun Watson will be making his return this weekend as the Browns quarterback as they play the Houston Texans. And now
Yo, did you hear about that? The people.
Oh,
did you hear
yeah.
about what they're doing with
the women accused of him,
people?
women who are accusing him of what happened will be at the game. So I'm just going to say this now to anybody who's got children: don't take your children to that game. They're going to hear language you're not ready to hear. And then, of course, as it broke yesterday, there is a game that's been flexed, but it's not this weekend's game, which I thought it would have been. It's next weekend's game. The Broncos-Chiefs game has been moved to Sunday afternoon. The new Sunday night game on December 11th is the Chargers taking on the Dolphins. Man, the Chargers have been really lucky getting these games being flexed tonight, haven't they?
I know, right?
Which, granted, I don't mind, but still, it's kind of like.
What they got? They got dirt on Mr. Goodell.
Who knows? Also, Falcons tight end Kyle Pitts underwent season-ending knee surgery today, so he will be out for the rest of the season. And that is that there. By the way, if you want the full records, I'm at 104.75 and Dave's at 105.73 and 1, and Travis is at 104.74 and 1. So it's very close right now. So close you could cut it with a knife. Ooh, hope my buddy Billy's gonna be okay. Ouch, his car just died. Anyway, let's get to some college news real quick. UAB has hired ex-NFL quarterback Trent Dilfer as the new head coach. Yep, he will be the new head coach. He is 50 years old. He was the head coach at Lipscomb Academy in Nashville, Tennessee. Is a former standout quarterback at Fresno State who graduated to an NFL career with the Buccaneers, Ravens, Seahawks, Browns, and 49ers. He did win a Super Bowl with the Ravens in 2000. So we'll see how that goes for him there. Now to some bad news. Florida quarterback Jalen Kettner, who many of you might remember that last name, he is the son of former NFL quarterback John Kettner, but his son, Jalen Kettner, was arrested today on 2 counts of handing out child pornography and possession of child, and 3 counts of possession of child pornography. He has been suspended from the school and the team. He was the backup. So I'm just gonna say this: 1, that's fucking disgusting. 2,
Totally.
he may as well just he's gonna become the prison bitch. Because prison women, well, prison people, yeah, there's a few things they don't tolerate, and that's one of them. So expect probably the prisoners to probably beat the fuck out of him. And 3rd, his life and career is over. Because even if he doesn't go to jail or doesn't serve a long sentence, he's done. So yeah, there's that awful news. Also staying with more awful news. Nebraska's Mickey Joseph arrested on suspicions of assault today. He served as he was the interim head coach for Nebraska Cornhuskers for 9 games this year. Was arrested on suspicion of a strangulation and 3rd-degree domestic assault. Oh, people are just stupid. Okay, again, it just proves that there are dumb people. Do dumb shit, you get stupid prizes. There's your 2 winners of the dum-dums. But let's get to some happier news, because I think we want some happy news right now, don't we?
Then Auburn signed a new head coach too.
Yeah, the coach from, I believe they got the guy from Liberty.
I think so.
So congratulations
Mr.
to him.
Freezer, some Freezer, Mr. Free. I don't know.
And Deion Sanders, a lot of people want him to take the Colorado job for college. I don't think he needs to. Just stay where you're at. That Colorado job's not worth it.
Didn't the Deion Sanders team go undefeated? Or was that the other guy? And one of those NFL players
I think it was Sanders' team who went undefeated. Yeah, it's Sanders, I believe. I might be wrong.
Yeah, I think it is.
Getting to the rankings for this week. Granted, this week's rankings don't really matter except for like the top 6. But we're just going to go over them all anyway. Number 25 is the Wolfpack of North Carolina State. 24 is Mississippi State. 23 is the Tar Heels. 22 is UCF. 21 is my Irish. Number 20 is the Texas Longhorns. 19 is the South Carolina Gamecocks. 18 is Tulane. 17 is UCLA. 16 is Oregon, who dropped 7 spots. 15 is Oregon State Beavers. 14 is LSU. 13 is Florida State. 10 is Kansas State. Clemson is 9th. Penn State is 8th. Tennessee is 7th. Alabama is 6th. Ohio State is 5th. And then it's USC at 4. TCU at 3. Michigan at 2. And Georgia at 1. I have no issue with the top 4.
Yeah, me too. I mean, they could switch TCU, like they should make that number 2 and Michigan number 1 and Georgia number 3.
Well, you know that's not going to happen. Georgia's going to stay at 1. They play in the SEC, so there's that.
What do you think the College Bowl? Who you think top 4 is going to be? Who face? I'm facing TCU and Michigan.
I don't think it's going to change. I think the top 4 is going to stay as it is after Saturday. I don't see unless.
No, the playoffs. The playoffs. What the game's going to be? Is it going to be?
Who do you think is going to be?
Think the matchups?
Most likely.
I want to see Michigan. I want to see Michigan and TCU. That'd be a good game.
I believe what it's 1-4 versus 2, 1 versus 4, and 2 versus 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so basing on that, if it stays like this, most likely for the championship, Georgia will end up facing probably Michigan or TCU, because Michigan TCU will face off winner that would play Georgia USC. That's if anything.
That'd be a good game. They all. Yeah.
That's if nothing chaotic happens on Saturday, which gets me to this. Ohio State fans are not out of it yet at all, because I think if the way Ohio State can get in, if USC loses or TCU loses, I think Ohio State will get put back in there, because I think the committee will look at TCU and saying, "Hey, you didn't play in a big enough conference. You know, you played against a bunch of weak teams, so that one loss is going to hurt you. You bounce out."
But I give TCU credit, though. They did good. They had a good season.
They had a good season, but unfortunately, we know the committee can be a little biased. USC, if they lose, they're out, because they're going to have 2 losses by that point, and that will open the door for Ohio State. Now, the only thing that can hurt Ohio State, to me, is if LSU beats Georgia, because then Alabama could sneak in and say, "Hey, we lost to the best team in the SEC who won the SEC championship." Do I think Alabama's going to get in? To quote the old Vince McMahon theme song, "No chance, that's what you got." By the way, my buddy Corey commented, "Huge Freeze was the head coach at Ole Miss till he was fired for buying prostitutes for the recruits." Thank you.
Okay.
Ramsey's the smart one on occasions. I will admit that. He is the smart one, but he has more information than me and Dave do. So thank you for that.
So if Michigan loses, they still have a chance to make it?
I think if Michigan loses, they'll end no matter what, just because you can't put Ohio State above them, because they beat Ohio State. And I think if Georgia loses, they still go in anyway. But it's really the TCU and USC game that I'd be watching. But I'm going to say this. If LSU does win, the committee ain't ready for that conversation. The committee's going to be going insane. Going to be like, what the fuck do we do? By the way, one thing I should announce as well. West Virginia keeping Coach Brown in 2023. And a source, I should just point out, it's a source, Rose Bowl given Wednesday deadline for CFB. So just keep that in mind. Now, of course, with that being said, let's get to the games we have now. There are technically 11 games this week for college, but we're not going to be talking about one of them, but I'm just going to at least mention it, because this is not for a conference championship or anything. It is Akron from the MAC, who's 2-9, taking on the 5-6 Buffalo University. That is Friday at 1 p.m. on ESPN+. Game doesn't really mean much anything for except for Buffalo. You know, win might get them in a ball game. I don't know exactly, but a win would be nice. But the rest of these, all conference championships. And the first one, we're heading to the great old Conference USA Championship matchup, as it is North Texas taking on UTSA Roadrunners. Beep, beep. So, Dave, who are you taking in this one? Are you going to go with North Texans, or are you going to go with the Roadrunners?
I have a Roadrunner, because I love Roadrunners. So, Roadrunners, go win the championship.
All right, so you and me both have the Roadrunners there on that one. By the way, North Texas is mean green. Like I said, Travis is not here right now. He's doing some, you know, he's got the kids and all that, so he's not with us for the college one. He did not make college picks for this week. But that is fine. We're not going to hold that against them this week.
Yeah.
So keep an eye on that. Okay, Ramsey is taking Green Wave, North Texas. All right. Let's see if he's right on that one. I'm glad we have somebody in the comments doing this besides just Dark Knight and Rosie and all that. All right, up next, we head to probably the big game on Friday on Fox. So all you WWE fans, I know you're going to be pissed that all you can't watch SmackDown. Hey, forget SmackDown. Roman Reigns is a terrible human being. You're not going to miss it. You know,
yeah,
no, don't even put on don't put on an FS1. You'll be disappointing yourself. As it is, the Utah Utes, I know I mispronounced that, taking on the Trojans in the Pac-12 championship game at 8 o'clock Friday night. I am taking the Trojans here. This is their game to lose. If they lose this, they can forget about being in the playoff. Utah can play the Warriors spoiler here, but I'm going to take the Trojans. I just think they're just a better team. You know, I will give credit to Utah this year. They played a lot of good games this year, but unfortunately, a win here will at least, hey, you'll screw over the Trojans if you win, but give me the Trojans. Dave?
I got you. I got the Trojans. I got the Trojans all day.
Better team
than Utah. Better team than Utah.
Oh,
better team.
No, Utah is pretty good. I mean, I like Utah. I just think Trojans are better. Ramsey's taking Utah. Wow. A.K.A. East Coast Raider.
The way I seen them play, they were fumbling balls.
Fair enough. Up next, and these are all the games on Saturday. We point this out. At 12 o'clock on ABC, it is the Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship, baby. Winner of this gets a lifetime supply of Dr. Pepper, which is not true, but it should be. It is number 10, Kansas State, taking on undefeated TCU. If TCU wins this, they will be in the playoff. A loss to it pretty much might eliminate their chances. I am taking the Horned Toads here. They've been probably one of the more nicest surprise teams to talk about this year. I know a lot of people are saying almost every week, oh, this is when they get upsetted. This is when they get upsetted. This is when they get upsetted. Guess what? They haven't been upsetted yet. I think Kansas State's a good team, and, you know, they've played a lot of good games this year, just like Utah has, but I think TCU, too much a high-powered offense. TCU wins this game. Dave, who do you got?
TCU.
TCU as well. So none of us are...
You know, all my picks, I've been picking TCU. If you ever had TCU, I picked them. They actually look good, and I want to see them.
Wow. My buddy is actually picking Kansas State on that one.
I want to see TCU I want to see TCU in the big dance. I want to see TCU on national television. You know what I mean? Like, you know?
Oh, one more game just got added as well, apparently, because this was not on here when I wrote them yesterday. But it is a 3 o'clock game between Vapsalosa and New Mexico State, but we don't care about that one again. Not a conference championship game. It's just a random game to put on. It doesn't even have a station it's airing, okay? But also at 12 o'clock, we're heading to the MAC championship to see who's the MAC daddy for this year. Will it be Toledo or will it be the Ohio Bobcats? I am taking Ohio here. I don't know much about Toledo because, again, I don't get to watch a lot of their games being in Virginia. I know a little bit of the Ohio games because I usually can watch their games when they're on Thursday or Friday. So I'm basing this mostly on I know a little bit more about Ohio, but that's about it in this situation. Give me the Ohio Bobcats. Dave?
I got Ohio Bobcats.
We are agreeing. I'm scared about that. All right, at 3:30 on ESPN, we're heading to the Sun Belt to see who becomes the Sun Belt World Champions, as it is Coastal Carolina taking on Troy. Troy is favored right now by 8.5 points, but you know what? This is my upset pick for the conference championships. I am taking Coastal Carolina to beat Troy here. I just think Coastal Carolina's, you know, we've heard about them all last year. They were good last year, a little bit this year. They had a hiccup. But I think they're going to win this one and win the Sun Belt once again. My buddy Corey's taking Ohio and Troy, respectively, in their two matchups. Dave?
I'm taking Troy.
Taking Troy. All right, that's the first one you and me disagreed on.
I know, right?
Could be the only one. Up next, we're heading down to the South, baby. Atlanta, Georgia for 4 o'clock on CBS as it's LSU taking on Georgia. Can LSU shock the world and upset Georgia and cause havoc and chaos for the playoff committee?
Didn't LSU beat Alabama this season?
They did beat Alabama. Alabama was not. Well, remember Tennessee beat Alabama first. I'm taking Georgia here. I'm sorry. I think it's nice LSU got in there because, hey, they beat Alabama, but I am not betting against the Bulldogs. No chance in hell. Give me Georgia.
You know what? I'm making an upset here. LSU knocked the undefeated streak out of Georgia. So let's go LSU Tigers. Let's go. No, wait.
Dave's being brave. He's taking LSU.
Yeah, LSU Tigers too, right?
Yeah, LSU Tigers, Dave.
Okay.
Right. Corey says Georgia by 10 plus. I think that might be a little nice. But I
LSU by a field goal.
Oh, if that happens, Dave, you need to buy a fucking lottery ticket. Up next at 4 o'clock on ABC, we're heading to the American Athletic Championship to see who's an All-American Athletic American. It is the UCF Knights taking on 18 Tulane. I am taking the wave of Tulane, baby. Dave?
I'm taking Tulane. Tulane green, too.
All right, you and me both agree there. I'm going to check the next comment from my buddy in a minute. Also at 4 o'clock on Fox, it will be for the Mountain West Championship. Of course, it's also known as Welcome to the Field of Blue, since it's in Boise, Idawa, Boise State University to be more specific. It's Fresno State taking on Boise State. Give me Boise State, they got the home field advantage. They literally are playing in the fucking stadium. Give me Boise.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, but you're taking Boise?
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. All right, the next one, of course, is the one for Dave that matters the most, but Corey's taking Tulane and Fresno. All right. At 8 o'clock on Fox, it would be for the Big Ten Championship. Purdue, who somehow shocked the world by making it in there, takes on undefeated Michigan. Can Purdue shock the world one more time this year, beat Michigan and send the committee into a tailspin, or does Michigan win this one? Michigan, by the way, is favored by 17 points. I'm surprised it's that low. I actually would have thought it would have been higher. Give me Michigan. I'm sorry. You know, I know I picked Michigan to lose last week, but I thought, hey, Ohio State might have got revenge. That didn't happen. Purdue's a nice Cinderella story, but yeah, I ain't betting against Michigan this week. No, give me Michigan. Dave, I know.
You know what? I see an upset here. I see Michigan destroying Purdue.
That's not an upset.
What's an upset in my book?
How is that an upset in your book? You're a Michigan fan. That makes no...
I know. I'll be the smartass.
Put down the tequila. That's my job to drink.
And we're gonna have our best coach go in the playoff and win the national championship. I predict that we're winning the national championship this year. We're gonna go off in a story, and Jim Harbaugh retires, and then comes back to the NFL. So.
Oh, Corey, if you had a PS4 or 5, I would be adding into next week's chat just so you could have the floor. He's taking Michigan by 21, so he's pretty much saying blowout. Love it.
Nah, I'll take Michigan by 40.
Wow. Well, yeah, I think this could be Michigan, the easiest one to pick. Up next, it is Clemson taking on North Carolina for the Subway ACC Championship, 8 o'clock on ABC. Clemson's currently favored by 7.5 points, but I gotta be honest here, both teams have kind of been underperforming this year to me. Clemson's not as good as they used to be, and if you need any examples, they lost to my Fighting Irish, a team that's rebuilding with a new coach. North Carolina kind of hit a skid. Clemson is undefeated in ACC play. They're 8-0 in conference play. But you know what? I've kind of been disappointed with Clemson this year. And this is my second upset for the college games this weekend. I am taking the Tar Heels to win, upset Clemson, and win the ACC championship. And no, I don't mean this is for football, not basketball, by the way. Anybody just tuning in? Dave?
What? I'm taking the Clemson.
Clemson Tigers.
Yep.
Fair enough. Just to point out again, just as before we move on to more news and everything, next week there's only one game we're going to be talking about: Navy versus Army. I always love watching that game. I will tell you this now, and I will say it next week. I am turning my phone off at 3 o'clock, December 10th, to watch Navy and Army, so no one bother to call me, text me, message me, tweet me, TikTok me, YouTube me, whatever, because I will ignore you. I watch the Navy-Army game every year. It's one of those I think that a lot of people should watch every year. That's just my opinion. We will be discussing that game next week.
Alright.
Mostly because I love watching that. It makes me think of my grandfather. Good times.
Yep, nothing wrong with that.
I just hate the fact, again, my YouTube likes to censor shit when I don't believe in censoring anything. He says, Tar Heels defense is absolute ass. Well, probably, it is, but I just have been disappointed with Clemson, and of course, he's taking Clemson as well. Get into some more news of sports, football, and others. Penguins' Chris Langton out indefinitely after having his second stroke of his career. So most likely I don't know how long it will be out. He may be retiring, unfortunately, for my Penguins. Wham. Sad news there. As far as for your hockey fans, game's on right now. Sabres are leading the Red Wings 4-1. Rangers are leading the Senators 2-0. And the Sharks are leading the Maple Leafs 1-1. 9:30 tonight on TNT, the Oilers play the Blackhawks. See, we try to
Blackhawks.
We try to make sure everybody gets the sports fun in here. Head into the NBA real quick before we get to more NFL news. NBA, Cavaliers are destroying the 76ers right now, 78-48, near the middle of the third quarter. Jesus Christ.
Damn.
Cleveland's got a team and they don't need LeBron James to carry the fucking load. Hawks are beating the Magic right now, 79-59, middle of the third. The Celtics are barely beating the Heat right now, 68-60, about to be the end of the first half there. I know that makes you happy, Dave. You're a Boston fan. Nets are beating the Wizards, 42-47, and Nets are winning 47-42, my mistake. Middle of the second, near the end of the first half, actually. The Milwaukee Bucks are beating the Knicks 39-36 near the end of the first half. Grizzlies and Timberwolves near the end of the first quarter. Grizzlies lead 17-16. Raptors are losing to the Pelicans 28-21 near the end of the first. And Spurs are barely beating the Thunder end of the first quarter, 27-25. Your games tonight, Rockets and Nuggets at 9, Bulls Suns at 9, Clippers and Jazz at 9, Pacers Kings at 10 o'clock, and the Trailblazers and the Lakers at 10:30. By the way, the Sacramento Kings are playing better than the Lakers. Thank you, God, for that early Christmas gift. Hashtag fuck LeBron James. Am I right or am I right?
Yep,
and then lastly, for you college basketball fans out there, yes, we do talk about that. 9:15, Michigan State plays my Fighting Irish. Games right now being played. Purdue is losing to Florida State 39-40. Start of the second. Tennessee's beating McNesis 41-16. Second half started. Duke is bleeding Ohio State 45-33. Started the second. North Dakota is only losing by 2 points to Iowa State. That game is still in the first period. Whatever you want to call it for college basketball. And tonight at 9:15 on ESPN, it's North Carolina Tar Heels taking on Indiana. All right, now to get to more NFL news. And then, of course, we got standings and shit. Terrell Owens, you all remember T.O., right?
Oh, then we got, yeah, I was reading about this.
He punched a man at CVS, said he was threatened. Retired NFL star T.O. said a fight caught on camera in which he punched a man in a CVS parking lot was the result of an aggressive threatening in him and a fan he was talking to at the California store. T.O., 48, told the press in a statement that he acted in self-defense Saturday night when the man made offensive gestures and threatening statements to him and a fan who approached Owens.
Wow.
So we'll probably have to keep more details on that, but T.O., I think T.O.'s probably, because I've seen the video, yeah, I can understand what T.O. said, self-defense. Bills' Von Miller gives an update on knee injury, targets Week 14 as his return, which they will be playing the Jets, which is in December 11th. So he will be out, though, for this week's game tomorrow night against the Patriots. So keep that in mind when you're making that pick. Also, Rams' Aaron Donald is out Sunday against the Seahawks for his ankle. This will be the first time he's missed a game due to injury. There's also, we don't know if Matthew Stafford will be playing. They're expecting to play without Matthew Stafford as well, who's dealing with a neck injury and is in concussion protocol. And, of course, they are still without Cooper Rush for the Rams, so, yeah. I wonder how everyone's going to say how bad Seattle wins. Just as a hunch. Good thing I don't waste cash on football games. Nothing wrong with that anime game. We don't bet, we just make predictions. I betted one time in football and I would never do it again because I lost too much money. I lost $50. Won't do it again. I'll stick to just picks and fantasy. Heading over to the playoff standings right now. In the AFC, Chiefs are the 1 seed, followed by Miami at 2, Tennessee at 3, Ravens at 4 because they hold the tiebreaker somehow. After that, it's Buffalo, Cincinnati, and the Jets, and the wild card spots. On the outside looking in are the Patriots, Chargers, Colts, Jaguars, and the Raiders, and Browns, and Steelers, who kept all their hopes alive by winning this past week. Broncos and Houston, bottom of the barrel. Houston will probably be eliminated this week with a loss. You may as well just add Denver there, because Denver, well, Broncos country, yeah, we're in the grave. By the way, how many times have we made fun of that this year?
A lot.
Yeah, it's going to keep going, too. Heading to the NFC, the Eagles are the 1 seed, followed by the Vikings at 2, Niners at 3, and the Buccaneers at 4. Your wildcard seed teams, Dallas is 5, Giants is 6, and the Washington Redskins, we say Redskins on this network, is 7. Seahawks are outside looking in, same with Atlanta, Detroit, Green Bay, Arizona, Carolina, and the Saints. Rams and Bears are not out of it yet, but a lot of these teams need to run a table. Speaking of the Vikings, Dave, do you know who can clinch a playoff spot this weekend?
Let me guess. The Vikings?
Correct. If the Vikings win their game this weekend and the Lions lose, the Vikings will win their division and will be the first team to clinch a spot. Just for clarification, in case you want to know before we get to the picks, the Lions play the Jaguars and the Vikings play the Jets. Keep that in mind. And last thing, certainly not least, before we get to the fun part, our predictions for this week. I meant in actual football video games. Okay. Well, I'm a big football nut, anime and gaming, so trust me, I still got a lot of the older sports games on the Genesis. As far as for your draft standings right now, Houston's got the number 1 pick right now, followed by Chicago. Detroit at number 3 because they own the Rams pick. Number 4 is Seattle because they own Denver's pick, and then Carolina. Just to finish out the top 10, Eagles are 6 because they own the Saints pick. And then it's the Cardinals, Packers, Raiders, and then Houston again, who own the Browns pick at number 10. But with that being said, let's get to the picks. And for some reason, my controller decided to go all the way down. We're not starting with that game. Go up, go up, go up. We're starting with the first one, which is tomorrow night. Amazon only, unfortunately. It is the Buffalo Bills on the road taking on the Patriots. Bills were without Von Miller this week. They kind of had a scare against the Lions. Didn't look the best. Patriots, you can make the argument that catch that should have been a touchdown. Maybe the refs got it wrong there. I know that's been a talking point with a lot of the heads on YouTube. Was it a catch? Was it not? I know some people said, how is that not a TD for the Patriots? But the Chiefs was weeks ago. Again, as somebody said, Urinating Tree said it best. Time to play what the fuck is a catch in the NFL this year. But with that being said, I think the Bills just have too many weapons. I think the defense is okay right now without Von Miller as long as he just misses 1 or 2 games. You want him to be healthy for the playoffs if you make it. So give me the Bills on the road. Dave, what about you?
I see the Patriots being the Bills.
So you're taking the Patriots, all right?
And Bill Mafia, don't tweet, don't pull your don't kill me, okay?
Since you do live in New York, our buddy Travis is taking the Bills in the game, and I will agree with what Mr. Ramsey said. He says Bills and a close one. I do agree with that. I think it's going to be closer than what people believe. Moving on, we head to the Sunday games now. And this one, I gotta be honest, I had a hard time picking. It's the Steelers against the Falcons. Of course, we mentioned the Falcons will be without their best weapon for Mariota. Since he's having season-ending surgery. Steelers coming off a win on Monday night, keeping their hopes alive, keeping the Raiders' hopes alive as well. So I know Ramsey was happy about that. It is in Atlanta. But this is my upset pick. I'm taking the Steelers, so I just feel like, and I'm sure that's going to shock my buddy Big Andrew. But I'm taking the Steelers, so you know what? I think Mariota, with his best weapon being gone, he's going to be in trouble a bit. Do I trust the Steelers winning this game? Not 100%. That's why it's my upset. I think at this point, I don't think they're playing for a playoff spot. They're playing to keep that record going for their head coach of him never having a losing season. So give me the Steelers in an upset.
You know what? I see the Falcons. I see the Falcons being the Steelers with a Cordarrelle Patterson touchdown.
Yeah, to return.
Punt return or kickoff return.
Kickoff return. All right. So you and Travis both are taking the Falcons, and my buddy, he's a Raiders fan, is taking the Falcons. I have a feeling I may regret that decision. Moving on, we're heading to Baltimore, which I'm going to say this right now. My mom, when she saw how the Ravens lost to the Jaguars...
Was she yelling at the TV?
Oh! She threw a shoe at the TV.
Oh, shit.
She said, quote, because I told her they're playing the Broncos, if they lose to the Broncos, who have been playing shitty football... She even looked, they only got 20 points twice this year. The offense is incapable of getting in the end zone. Her exact words were, quote, Paris Hilton's had more end zone fun celebrations with her husband this year than the Broncos had this year. Ouch. So if the Ravens lose, she said the Ravens should just disqualify themselves from the rest of the season. So you know who she's taking.
The Broncos.
Funny, Dave. I'm taking the Ravens here. I think hopefully they bounce back and realize you cannot let teams hang around. You need to leave your foot on the throat and end it. All your losses this year, Baltimore, because you got in stupid near the end. Stop being stupid. Be back to being smart, so you can at least make the damn playoffs. Broncos, you got the Ravens, yeah. I think Denver, personally, the clusterfuck. Ravens easily. Russell Wilson is absolute dumpster fire. You know what? I agree with that. I think that may go down as one of the worst, if not the worst, trade in NFL history. Unless you're the Seahawks, you look intelligent for doing it. Travis is taking the Ravens as well. He says it's his lock of the week. Alright, up next, a game I also had a hard time picking because of injuries. Packers and Bears. It is in Chicago. Aaron Rodgers it looks like he's going to be playing, even though he's got the hurt ribs. Of course I got to do that because EA had to be stupid. We don't know about Justin Fields or not for the Bears. If I got the quarterback's name wrong, I apologize. They may They may shut him down for the rest of the year anyway, just because they don't want him to hurt his shoulder anymore. Just get him ready for next year. Which, I can understand that. You know, if you don't think he can run the table, you don't really want your quarterback to get hurt worse than he already is. Just get him rested up, ready for next year. Packers defense really, they look terrible stopping the run. They were, God, awfully fucking bad. I think you could have ran up on that Packers defense, Dave. I know I could have ran, and I got 2 legs that have been surgically worked on and a back that's got to get surgically worked on next year. My mom's in a wheelchair. She could have ran up on him. I'm sure Ramsey could have ran up on him. I'm sure his family could run up on him.
Stevie Wonder could have ran through their ass.
Oh yeah, Stevie definitely. Aaron Rodgers said he's playing on Pat McAfee podcast. Give me the Packers for the W. Between that and I'm going to be honest here, I think we saw that the Bears' offense does not run the same when they don't have Fields out there. Fields most likely will not be back. So give me the Packers here.
I got the Packers. I'm not confident, but I don't know. I just prefer Aaron Rodgers over that Bears offense.
The backup, yeah.
Yeah, Jordan Love does better than the Bears quarterback.
That's the only thing I would say, though. Would you put Jordan Love in at this point? But I don't think they're going to if Rodgers has a chance of playing. Plus,
I mean, they should.
I know Rodgers said in the press conference Sunday he plans on playing until they're mathematically eliminated. So. But I am taking the Packers here. Hopefully they can beat the Bears, because if they lose to the Bears without and Fields ain't playing, that's going to be a fun episode next week.
Yeah.
Moving on now. We are heading to Detroit. The Lions coming off that heartbreaking loss against the Bills on Thanksgiving. Jacksonville coming off that big upset win. Here's the thing. This is one of the 2 games we mentioned that are very important this weekend. A Lions loss to a Vikings win gives the Vikings the division. Now, Lions have been playing pretty well. You know, they're a hard team to beat. Jacksonville looks like they finally figured it out. I've looked at this game, and I'm going to say, you know what, Vikings? I'm afraid I got some bad news for you, friends. The Motor City's going to at least make sure you don't win the division. At least not right yet. I'm taking the Lions here. I might be losing my mind on that one. But give me the Lions. Give me Big Daddy Cool Diesel in the Motor City.
You know what? I got some bad news for ya, the Jaguars, AW motherfuckers, because the Lions are going to too sweet and destroy the Jaguar. This is my lock of the week, though. It's gonna be a high battle.
Travis is also taking the Lions as well, and my buddy Mr. Ramsey, he is also taking the Lions.
If we're down with the Lions, Jaguar get bought up in a body bag.
Oh goodness. Let's not sing about NWO Wolfpack. Moving on, we're heading to Houston. Okay, this is my lock of the week. Cleveland's getting the quarterback they traded for. His suspension's lifted its first game back. Houston is purposely losing every game because they want that #1 pick. What's funny is if they win this game, it helps them in a sense because Cleveland moves up even closer to, you know, maybe top 8 or 9, well, 7th. But I'm sorry. Houston showed you how to tank beautifully. Cleveland wins this game. I think the over-under, it's not about the points. How will the fans of Houston react to the former quarterback being back?
You know what? I see the Browns taking an ass whipping I can't do it. I see the Browns beating the Texans.
Yeah, I don't think no one's going to take the Browns. The Texans to win, and no one's that confident in Houston, which makes me feel sad for Lovie Smith because I like Lovie Smith, but he was in a lose-lose. I think whoever got that job would have been in lose-lose. They were not set up to succeed this year, personally. But Buddy Ramsey, he says, I am taking the Texans. Haven't seen Watson and Brown's offense, and the crowd and players get up for this one game. That is the one thing I am worried about if I am the Browns. Is the environment going to affect him? And that's the one thing I am worried about personally. That'd be the only reason I... Up next, we're heading to Minnesota to talk about a man I'm not a big fan of, Kirk Cousins. At home against the Jets. Vikings turned it around, winning a primetime game for Kirk. They play a Jets defense who's one of the better AFC defensive teams out there, but it's the offense that always led questions. Here's my thing. I think if the Jets to win this, their defense is going to have to be lights out like it was against Chicago, but you're not playing a banged-up defense. You're playing a Vikings defense that's pretty good. Vikings offense has way more weapons than the Bears did. I think defensively the Jets will keep them in it, but guess what? For the first time in a long time, Kirk Cousins, I am putting my faith in you this week. I normally don't pick the Vikings that often. But, well, I mostly make fun of the Kirk Cousins a lot. No problem.
Sorry.
But you know what? I'm taking the Vikings and Kirk Cousins to win this game on Sunday. It's not a primetime game, so I should be safe there. And we'll have to see how White does. Now, I will say this. Win or lose. If White plays well, that's his job. And I'm going to say this. I think it's going to be his job anyway. Zach Wilson's lost the respect of the locker room because of that press conference. I think that's going to hurt him. I think White, if he plays well the rest of the way, he'll probably have it for next year guaranteed. But we shall see. It's going to be week to week.
I was in an interview with Mike White. I was reading something. He said he's not Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson bangs the moms. He takes the moms out to dinner and teaches them good. So I respect that. So I see an upset here. What are they playing? Vikings or are they playing New York?
They're playing in Minnesota.
Oh, I see an upset. I see the green machines of New York stopping the Vikings' head. Kirk stuffing Kirk Cousins and and that Jefferson guy. So I see the Jets upsetting by 10 points.
And my buddy Ramsey agrees with you. Give me the Jets and a Mike White Kirk Cousins shootout. Would be nice to see a shootout that actually has two good teams in it. Would be nice. Moving on, we are heading to New York, the land of the Giants, as they welcome in the Washington Redskins. Yes, I'm still going to say Redskins kiss my ass if you don't like it.
If you don't like it, get the fuck out.
Pretty much. Here's the thing. Giants still have the lot of injuries to deal with right now. They looked okay in that first half against the Cowboys, but a lot of weird coaching calls, and I think the injuries they had caught up to them in the end. Redskins have been playing real well. Heineke's been playing well. That defense is finally clicking. That offense has been doing well. If you would have told me at the start of this year that this game would mean a lot for playoff seeding, I probably would have said you were nuts. But with that being said, I am taking the Redskins, baby. Come on, let's go, old Burgundy and all that. Give me the Redskins. Hail to the Redskins. La 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 la. I don't know the fight song. Sorry.
And this is 21st anniversary of Sean Tyler's death, or the 14th.
Yeah,
anniversary.
I know. I'm going to mention that. I saw that ceremony they did last week for against the Falcons. That was
pitiful.
Pitiful is right how they did that, but Redskins won the game. They're winning on the field. That's what matters. They're not letting everything off the field distract them. Ramsey's taking Skins by 10. What about you, Dave?
I'm taking the Skins by 10 points.
10 as well. And Travis is also taking the Redskins. I think a lot of us may have lost faith in the Giants at this point. It might be the injuries that are doing him in. We shall see. Up next, a very difficult matchup to discuss. The Titans coming off that loss to the Bengals. They still got King Henry. Taking on an Eagles team who loves to run the ball down your throat. Of course, we did say, they did lose a key piece on their team. But, they did pick up a few weapons, Dominic and Sue and all that. Eagles, are one of those teams. The last few weeks, well, yes, they got a winning record, and I give them props. They only had that one loss to the Skins. They're winning games right now, they haven't been playing at their best. And what I mean by that is, if you compare to how they did at the start of the year to now, you know, they kind of lost maybe a little bit of that momentum, but that is to be expected. It's very hard to keep, you know, going that undefeated streak going and going. And it's probably good they lost when they did, because they were able to figure out what was wrong instead of what happened to Pittsburgh a few years ago, where they weren't actually able to rebound from it and ended up getting bounced by Cleveland in the playoffs. Here's the thing. I think the Eagles just have more better weapons than Tennessee. Yes, I think the Titans have probably one of the best running backs in the NFL in King Henry. But with that being said, almost every other position, I got to go with Philly on. So give me the Eagles here. Yes, I know they're my rival, and I should be hoping they lose to help Dallas. But like I've said to people off stream, just because they're my division rival does not mean I'm going to pick them to lose. Sometimes you have to do what's good for your picks and your standings and pick your rival to win. So give me the Eagles at home. It is in Philadelphia.
I haven't seen on Philly.
You going Philly as well, Dave?
No.
Ooh.
I said everything's in Philly. Everything's I do it. But I'm picking an upset here.
All right.
And me is the king of upsets, man.
Yeah, you're a fucking upset.
My upsets always come true. My upsets always come true.
That's the problem.
I see the Eagles running. No, wait. I'm eating. I see the Titans stopping the Eagles, setting the ground like Rocky did to Draco and Rocky 4. I see King Henry spearing the motherfucking the Eagles. So Titans up by 20 points.
Oh, so you're taking the Titans. Travis is saying Titans. It's his upset of the week. And my buddy Ramsey's taking Eagles, clapping the Titans' cheeks easy. This also might be an easy one as well. We're heading to Los Angeles, the Rams, who we just talked about, all of the injuries. At home against the... Okay, we're not going to San Francisco yet. We're going to LA. Go back up one. It's the Rams at home against the Seahawks. Seahawks, I know they've kind of had the last few games. They've kind of had some momentum problems. But come on, you're playing a Rams team who's doesn't have Stafford, doesn't have Cooper Rush, doesn't have Darnold now on the defense. So yeah, I'm taking the Seahawks. I think this is a bounce-back game for the Seahawks. Now, Dave, before we get to you, let's check who Travis has. Travis has the Seahawks. Now, Dave, you're a Niners fan. I know it'd be beneficial for you to have the Seahawks lose. But knowing that all the problems the Rams have right now with quarterback, Cooper Rush is out, their star defensive players out, are you really going to take that Rams team that looks like maybe the cast of The Walking Dead?
No, I'm thinking of Seahawks. It pays me it makes me sick saying that, but I got Seahawks.
Which I can understand that.
But just know, I want the Seahawks to lose, so I'm praying they lose, even though I need them to win. I'm hoping they lose.
Fair enough. Fair enough. My buddy says Seahawks bounce back to get a W. All right, now we're heading to San Francisco. It is the 49ers and Dolphins, and this game's interesting. Both teams are red hot right now. One, the Dolphins' head coach used to be on the coaching staff for the 49ers.
The offense coach.
So it's going to be interesting here. We're going to, a little bit to see what's going to happen. The game is in San Francisco. I should point that out. Now Travis is picking the 49ers. Dave, I know this one's kind of emotional for you because you're playing a guy who used to be on the coaching staff for the Niners. But tell us why we should pick the Niners.
Our defense the Saints, but I know you're gonna say, oh, but the Saints ain't the Dolphins. But the Dolphins offense is kind of good, but it's still they don't have a good running game. I mean, they traded for our running backs in the trade, so. But it's gonna be a shootout, so I pick the 49ers by a field goal.
49ers by a field goal, okay. Here's my thing. Both teams look good. Tuola's been undefeated since coming back from his injury. Niners offensive have a lot of weapons. Defensively they're good. They were able to pretty much, their defense is why they beat the Saints last week, because offensively last week the Niners were not that good, if we're being honest. Only really put up that many points. Here's the thing. This game to me comes down to one person. Jimmy.
The quarterback.
Holding on to the damn ball, Garoppolo. Something you've complained about. Now, here's the thing. Niners, I think, got lucky as hell. He didn't leave. They didn't trade him. He didn't sign to a new team or anything. He stayed because if he didn't, who knows what your team would be like right now. Here's the thing.
We'll be having Trey Lance right now.
Well, no, remember, no, the injury. That's what I'm referring to.
Oh, yeah.
Here's the thing. I think personally, and I look at this, I think the Niners' defense is better than Miami's a little, but the Dolphins probably had the best 1-2 combination punch with wide receivers. So it's really, to me, this was the toss-up. This one, it actually took me, believe it or not, it took me an hour to figure out who I was picking for the game. I literally kept going back and forth because you could go either way and you would feel happy. But I am taking the Dolphins here, and that's only because I trust the wide receivers a little bit better. I think it's probably going to be the game of the week. I think this should have been put as the night game instead of the Colts-Cowboys. And I'm a Cowboys fan saying that. But I think it's going to be the best game to watch this week on TV. If you can only watch one game, watch the Dolphins-Niners. That is my.
I want that on TV this month. I'm gonna look at it right now.
Well, you're in New York. You're fucked. Mr. Ramsey says if Tua gets sacked more than 2 times, I'm taking the 49ers. Fair enough. Up next.
And Nick Bosa got 30 hits, quarterback sack in the season right now.
Yeah, that's kind of. That's why I was saying I was having such a hard time. That's one of those games that could come back to bite me or help me. But now we're heading to WKRP Cincinnati. Haven't got to do that in a while. As it is the Bengals at home taking on Patrick Mahomes. Come with the frog. Kidding. Taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. What can we say? We know what the Chiefs are. They're one of the best teams in the AFC. They're one of the best teams in the NFL. They got Patrick Mahomes. They got that great offense. The defense is kind of just has to play intelligent enough not to cost them.
All right, my 2 games on CBS this week is Jets and Minnesota, and the Commanders and Giants at 4:20. It's the NASCAR. Nothing on.
Oh, you may need Red Zone then.
The Chiefs and Bengals.
Bengals, yeah, I kind of figured. Bengals after getting that big win, they look good. Granted they need the Ravens to lose and they need to win this to get that division, get back in the lead in the division, put Ravens in the wild card spot.
And Jamar Chase is back.
Woo! Chase is back. That's what's good. That's what worries me there. Because now the Bengals have the best weapon for Mr. Joe, but it's hard for me to pick against Patrick Mahomes.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
My TV's off. My TV's off right now.
But I can still hear you. So with that being said, I am taking the Chiefs. It's just hard for me to pick against Patrick Mahomes. It's very hard to do that. He's a bad man in a good way. Mr. Ramsey says Chiefs in a high-scoring game, maybe the highest combined points this season. That would not surprise me if this game ends up breaking records for most points. Dave, what about you? Chiefs or the Bengals?
Who the Travis got?
Travis has the Chiefs.
You know what? Fuck y'all. I'm going with the Bengals.
Going with the Bengals again. Well, it helped you out last week.
Yeah.
Alright, moving on to the next game. And well. It's the Raiders and the Chargers. It is in Las Vegas. Raiders coming off a good win that Corey did predict. Remember, he did predict the Raiders would run the table the rest of the way. They did beat the Seahawks. They're getting a Chargers team who is banged up. Kind of maybe should invest in getting some healthier players next year. After this year. Here's my thing. As much as I make fun of the Raiders head coach, I still don't like him. Never will like him. I personally don't think he should have got the job, but that's just my opinion. And opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one. But here's the thing. They're playing a little bit better right now, football. They got the running game going. Carr's been playing pretty well again. That defense is back to normal.
Josh
Jacobs is doing good. So, With that being said, Max Cosby's going to teabag Justin Herbert to death. Raiders and a walk-off costing a field goal in the 4th. Well, we know Ramsey was taking the Raiders. He's a diehard Raiders. He's a Raiders fan. With that being said, I'm doing something I haven't done a lot of this year, so this might hurt them, unfortunately. I am taking the Raiders of Las Vegas to get the W this week. Travis is taking the Chargers, so he's going go, Chargers, go. Dave, what about you?
You know what? I'm taking the motherfucking white and gold of the Death Star of Las Vegas. So, Raiders by a field goal.
Raiders by a field goal, alright, so...
No, overtime. We're going about overtime.
Oh, please, no more overtime. I think that's going to give somebody a heart attack if that keeps happening. Alright, heading on to the Sunday night game. It is the Colts and the Cowboys. Cowboys at home this week. They did beat the Giants last week. Colts, well...
Garbage.
Jeff Saturday proved he did not know how to coach. He pretty much wasted time management. One of the worst time management things I think we've ever seen in a long time. You know, I mean, yeah, they did get that one win with Saturday, which surprised everyone, but since then...
Well, it was a fluke.
Yeah, maybe it might have been a fluke, who knows. Coach defense ain't really that great. Matty Ice has not been playing well when he's been stardom. Remember, he actually did not get to play a few games at some point. I think it was a combination of injury and getting benched. Jeff Saturday, I'm going to say this. I think the only reason he got hired as the interim head coach is because, one, he's friends with the owner, which that always helps. B, he used to play for the Colts. Again, that always helps. You know, people got some fans back. Here's the other thing. Most of the pressure is not on Dallas, because here's the thing, if they lose, okay, they're still in the wild card. I think they would be still the 5th or 6th seed at that point. It'd probably help the Eagles if Cowboys lose, but a lot of the pressure's on the Colts, because Colts have to win out and get some hope to get in the playoffs, or even win their division. So a lot of pressure's on the Colts right now, in my opinion. I think Dallas, if they lose this, yeah, I know a lot of the Cowboys haters would make fun of Dallas, but I think Cowboys...
Like me.
Yeah, but I think Cowboys win this one. We know that anyway. I'm going to take my Cowboys. Ramsey saying Colts stop the run well, so if they hold Zeke and Pollard at 125 yards, I'll take the Colts in my upset for the week. All right, so Ramsey's taking the Colts if Colts meet those requirements. Travis, I believe, is taking the Cowboys, so he's jumping back up on that bandwagon. Dave?
Oh, God, no. You know what?
We know Mr. Jones would take the Colts if he was able to join us. But
It kills me to say this, man. I'm about to cry. It kills me to say this. But, Doug, I'm afraid I got some good news for you. This is gonna kill me. I'm gonna make fun of... Okay? I'm going for the Cowboys.
Cowboys. Now, hey, I haven't made fun of your 49ers. Give me credit. I don't make fun of your team, even when they were bad.
You make fun of Jimmy G.
Well, we make fun of Jimmy G, but even when they're good, even you make fun of Jimmy G when he's good. So come on, give me credit.
Come on, Dakota Prescott, do your thing.
All right, now the last game of the week, we head to Monday night. Oh, God.
Oh.
It's the Saints who couldn't put up any goddamn points last week, taking on the Buccaneers who lost in overtime to Cleveland. This is a game. I thought, you know what? I didn't watch the Steelers-Colts game until like the 4th quarter, because I was playing video games and streaming stuff. This one I might want to watch just because I want to see a train wreck, because I think it's going to be a clusterfuck train wreck of glorious portions. I'm taking the Bucs here. Do I really feel confident in picking Tampa Bay? Oh, hell to the no. But Saints don't have an offense, pretty much. So what the Niners defense did, Saints may be one of the most sadder stories. Granted, we know they were rebuilding. No more Drew Brees. Their head coach retired. Kind of rebuilt year. Granted, if this is what the Saints fans have to look forward to, if this keeps up in a few more years, they may be going back to the Aints where they're wearing the paper bags over their heads. I don't know what team is worse anymore, so I'll take the Bucs because the defense is getting healthier. and I have Mike Evans starting in fantasy this week. You know what? That may be one of the best reasons I've heard to pick a team this week.
You know what? I'm gonna go with that. Whatever the guy said. I'm picking the Bucks because I had Tom Brady on my fantasy team.
And Travis is also taking the Bucks. I don't think anyone trusts the Saints. That's one of those teams no one trusts anymore. If Drew Brees was playing, that'd be different, but yeah, that is what it is there. Alright, so before we go, like we do every week, let's take a look ahead to next week. Because we hate ourselves. On Thursday will be the Raiders against the Rams in Week 14. On Thursday night. That game is about, well, that game should be fun. Raiders used to be in Los Angeles back in the day, years ago. Taking on the Rams, who are now in LA. My Cowboys are at home against the Texans. You would think that would be an easy matchup since everybody else has ran them over. But Houston's kind of been a thorn in our side in the past. Ironically enough, here's what's funny. And this is kind of what I'm hoping for with the Vikings-Lions this week. If the Lions and Vikings win in Week 13, guess what the Week 14 matchup is?
The Lions and Vikings?
Vikings at Detroit, yep. So that would be an interesting thing next week to keep an eye on if that game means anything. Stadium will be no thing, but Raiders fans when they play the Rams. Yeah, I have a feeling I may be picking the Raiders in back-to-back weeks, particularly if the Rams are still going to be that banged up.
I know.
So I'm going to be on the Raiders bandwagon for a bit.
We play the Buccaneers next week.
You play the Buccaneers, yeah. Ravens at Steelers, so that's my mom's team. Let's see. What about the Colts and Packers? Because I know 49ers, Bucks. Okay, like we said, Chiefs and Broncos, it's not the Sunday night game anymore. It's the Dolphins, Chargers. Keep that in mind. I think
Who do you play next week after? Who do you play next week after?
I think the Packers and Colts are off in Week 14. Okay, so that may make Travis and Mr. Supposed to Week 15, Thursday night, hey. It's the Niners and Seahawks.
Rivalry game.
And then we got a few Saturday games that week.
Ain't that Christmas Eve?
I don't think so, but I might be wrong. I'm not good with the calendar since I don't have one in front of me. Of course, we have Saturday games in Week 15 and all of that, but we'll look ahead to those when we get to it. But until then, I would like to thank everyone who stopped by. So, Mr. Ramsey, thank you once again. Hopefully, we hear from you again next week. Dave, same to you. Hope you have a good, safe rest of your week at your job.
Thank you.
Travis, hopefully you're here with us next week as well, because we love when you're on here, because you make fun of your Packers best than anybody.
And not the same without the crew. It ain't the same without the crew here.
Mr. Johns, I know you're still at MIB headquarters with your new position. Again, congratulations. Hopefully we'll have you for the playoffs this year. No Dark Knight and Rosen, but I think that's because they've been playing Fall Guys, I guess. So I'll probably hear who they'll pick probably in the chat when I talk to them. But give me a few minutes, guys, because I'm going to rest my voice up, and then we're going to do another stream. One of my Let's Play videos. We finished Pac-Man, so I got to go back in the days of PS1. Back when there wasn't an analog controller. Back when you had to use the little D-pad, motherfucker. As we go back to the mansion that started it all. But until then... Resident Evil, correct. The PS1 version, to be more specific. But to be there... Director's Cut, yep. But until then, everyone have a good night. Enjoy your football. Good luck to your college and pro team if they play this week. And hopefully if we picked them to win, they get the W. If we picked them to lose, well...
Suck to be you.
Yeah, pretty much. Until then, have a good night, everybody, and peace.
Good night.